Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning into episode 449 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube. As always, whether you're watching the recording or you're watching live, you're very, very welcome. Please feel free to leave a comment, ask a question. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. And if you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. First comment for this video goes to Maudlin, who says, "How colourful." I know, it's great, isn't it? I mean, that's put a smile on my face just seeing that display there. Mache says, "I've never heard of this brand before." Now, do I believe you? Are you being serious? But maybe you haven't. Anyway, Raucous Retread says, "Interesting, you are a busy bee today." Yeah, I know, this is the last one, and it's probably going to be the last one for a few days. Now, I am telling you now, don't worry, I do not propose to smell 12 perfumes with you in this video. We're going to focus in on the four that I think are the most interesting from this brand. And what is this brand? The brand, as you can see from the title of the video, is Eau D'Italie. It was founded several years ago by the people behind a famous hotel. What is it? The Sirenuse Hotel in Positano. And I think first they just wanted to make a hotel scent. And if somebody knows this story better than I do, please feel free to correct me. But I believe the first person that they turned to was none other than Bertrand Duchaufour, and then they created a range of scents with him. But a lot of the original ones have been discontinued. In fact, the one that happens to be my favorite from the brand, which I do still have a bottle of, has been discontinued. That was a Duchaufour one. Some of the original ones are around though, and they've turned to other perfumers, and now they have got 12 scents. And I was recently sent these little vials of the 12 scents, and I thought, well, that's a good opportunity to kind of do a showcase and a catch up on all of them and present them all to you. Can we call you Cardi P? Says, because you can call me anything you like at the moment. You can call me frazzled, because this technology is still being a real nuisance. So please, please, please make sure you tell me if the stream goes funny. I would love to know what some of your favorites from these ones are. Gavin says, "I used to like the popcorny one Anique Menardo did." Yeah, see, I think that's one of the ones I didn't like. Now, in the interests of fairness, I'm going to very, very, very quickly tell you what I think of the 8 that I am less keen on, and then we will home in a little bit more closely on the 4 that I think are the best. Of course, it would help if I remembered what those 4 are. I tried to put them to the front. And what you can hear is the pages being flicked on my notebook. So the ones that I think are a little bit disappointing, and it has to be said that I think in recent years, the brand has tended to be a little bit more disappointing and a little bit more derivative. I don't know if it's still attached to the hotel. I don't know if it's still attached to the owners of the hotel, but their original scents were genuinely interesting, quirky. They had something to say. More recently, well, you'll get a sense of what I mean. So, for instance, there's one that they've got called Jasmine Leather, which to me is like somebody coming along and saying, "Oh, there's the scent from Tom Ford called Tuscan Leather that seems to do very well. Please, can you give us a Tuscan Leather?" Yeah, and I'm not going to read actually what some of these notes get really, really rude. I think the more annoyed I get, the ruder they get. I have written here, "Oh wow, someone wants some Dubai money." What I've said is that it starts off as a total Tuscan Leather clone, but maybe with a more prominent floral section, because I guess maybe they've umped up the jasmine. Then there's Mystic Sunset, which I wasn't very taken with at all, because it's basically a wannabe of Baccarat Rouge 540 from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. But Maudlin is saying, "Oh, snap." Snap in what sense? But I did actually think, because I can't take Baccarat Rouge 540. I absolutely cannot take it. There is something about it that makes my stomach turn. But I did think that if somebody wants to wear something that smells like Baccarat Rouge 540, they might be better off going to Mystic Sunset, because it is, surprisingly, a kind of more palatable version of it, to my nose. Moving on, there's one called Easy to Love, which is composed by Dora Bagrish. And I've written here, yes, everything is easy to love when it's all pristine and wiped clean. I've written here, it reminds me of memories being wiped in the film Memento. I just thought it was kind of very, very white and sort of lacking in personality. Not altogether pleasant, I've written here. Then there are the notes for one of the ones which I do like, and another one that I do like. Morn to Dusk is the Annick Minardo. I've written strands of musky vanilla, very, very sickly opening, candy floss, not in a good way. So I got candy floss, you got popcorn. And what was this I've written here? If the idea is to move to darkness, so morn to dusk, then there isn't enough light in order to tell this story. Because yes, I think everything was just sticky darkness. Sounds like the fun is taking out of the brand, says Noah. Yeah, maybe. And then there was the original, I think, Eau D'Italie, which I haven't put in my 4, but it is an interesting one. That's one of the Duchaufour ones because it's got a kind of curious cassis, incense, apple combination, like a sort of pristine lake with something weird happening beneath it. Then there's, what's it called? Is it Olac, which I've said is trying a bit too hard to be gentle, a forced romanticism, all figs and lilacs and roses. Then we've got one of the ones which I think is okay, and another one which I think is okay. And oh yeah, Bateau pour Capri, which is by Jacques Cavalier from 2012, nearly made it onto the sort of list of the ones that I like. It's very, very pleasant. I've written here that it's a very, very 90s shampoo fruity musk, but not unattractive, like a 90s Versace advert with big hair and everything being in slightly soft focus. And then finally, we have got from Daphne Bouget from 2014, Grain de Joie, which I've written here is a sickly pomegranate with sweet musks, but I have said that it is very, very convincingly red. And it's meant to be a grain of joy, right? God, Persolaise is so rude, seriously. I said maybe it's joy if you're a 5-year-old in a sweet shop. So those are the ones that I thought were maybe not so much worth your time, but let's spend the rest of the video focusing on the ones that are more interesting. And let us begin with, is it Acqua Decima? I suppose it's going to be Decima, not Decima, because it's Italian, right? And this is from Alberto Morillas from 2013. No point showing you these because they're just carded samples. This does not sound appealing to me at all, says Mache. Well, the 4 that I like, I do like. I just wish I wish they hadn't discontinued the one that I did like. Let's do some labeling as well. Where is my pen? Actually, we can go on to here. So now I will tell you before I even spray it that this is a really well done, very convincingly executed, nicely done, traditional herbal cologne type scent. Yeah, with an emphasis on the herbs and the aromatics. So it's not cologne bigarade. It's not lemons and oranges and grapefruit. It is the herbs and the aromatics. And I've written here that it stays nicely sharp. And I think that's what I liked about it. It's got proper bite to it. And because of that, I suppose, dare I say it, it kind of actually made me think of good old school Eau Sauvage. It's very, very, very optimistic, very kind of open, very forward-looking, very bright. What does the brand say about it? Inspired by our walks along the path of the gods, the beautiful mountain trail that goes all along the Amalfi Coast, offering breathtaking views in which at times it's impossible to tell where the sky ends and the sea begins. Acqua Decima is an ode to the sun and to the joy of life, a quintessentially Mediterranean fragrance. And it really is. It really, really does all of that extremely well. There was one I enjoyed that was discontinued, says Tamara. See, And Mache is saying, Morillas, I wonder what it will smell like. Well, it doesn't go at all heavy on all of those big CK1 musks, not at all. It is well done. It is well done for that sort of thing, and actually probably a very, very good modern style Eau Sauvage. I would not be very, very, very happy to have a bottle of this in my collection. Another one that I was taken, I think the ones that I think are better done in this brand actually are those ones that play the Mediterranean card. The ones that are sunny and citrusy and herbal and bright and optimistic and azure and sparkling. As soon as they try to kind of do Tuscan leather or Baccarat Rouge 540 or sticky sweets, then you kind of think, no, just capitalize on what you do well. Jardin du Poete, where did that come from? That's a Duchaufour one from 2011, which I guess in a way makes it kind of one of the original ones. I remember when this came out thinking that it was nicely done, and I may even have reviewed it over on Persolaise.com, but let's have a re-smell. Pop that on there. I thought, yeah, I've got a thing about the name. Anyway, let's stay in your lane, as it were, says Kim. Yes, I suppose so. Now, this is a kind of take, a slightly alternative take on the kind of cologne structure, in the sense that even though it's got the herbs and the aromatics, the emphasis is very much on the citruses. It's interesting comparing them with each other, the Decima and the Jardin du Poete, because it is more like a garden, maybe an orchard, but very, very, very convincing with it. Smelling it now, and I haven't actually thought this before, it's got shades of Duchaufour's fantastic, brilliant Orange Blossom for Penhaligon's. It's got that kind of outdoorsy, slightly sweet, cedary naturalness to it. A very, very sparkling, zesty, green, fizzy cologne style scent I've written here. But is it dreamy enough to be poetic? Because if it's a poet's garden, Jardin du Poete, I've written in my notes that it seems rather too energetic to be a kind of dreamy, poetic garden. But then maybe that says more about my image of a poet. I suppose I'm thinking of somebody like, Wordsworth or Keats being more meditative, introspective. This feels much more kind of outdoorsy centered, and it does have a sense of movement in it. There is a kind of lovely interplay between the citruses and the herbs. The prices are not exorbitant, says Kim. No, I know. I'm looking at their website now, and 100 mils is 165 euros, which, I mean, hey, that is still a lot of money. I mean, the way we kind of have to recalibrate what we consider to be expensive, there is no way that you can say that that isn't a lot of money. But thank goodness it's not like 350 euros for 100 mils. Anybody had a chance to smell some of the Ren de Saba range? Oh, you're changing the subject. Never mind. The Poet's Garden is a picture by Van Gogh. I need to Google it. Just to see what it looks like, in case I think it does make me think of this. Oh, okay. Although there is a kind of dreamier quality to that painting as I'm looking at it now, isn't there? This perfume is, I think, just a bit too sharp and vivid and bright, and as I say, energetic, to go with how I interpret that painting. But thank you for that. I did not know. What does the brand say? The brand says, the inspiration for this fragrance is a tale from a bygone era when nations were ruled by poets and poets were sacred to Apollo. In those days, Sicily was a Greek colony, Syracuse was a fragrant court, and its gardens vibrated with the scent of citrus orchards and rows of aromatic plants. Okay, that I get. Citrus orchards and rows of aromatic plants. Yes, that is totally what you get here. And again, because they haven't kind of filled it to the brim with loads and loads of heavy synthetic musks, it doesn't last as long as some of the other scents, but then it's not trying to. It is trying to be light and fleeting and ephemeral, and it is all the better for it. Another one of the ones that I liked, somewhat unexpectedly actually, because I didn't think this would be one of the ones that I would showcase to you, but it's Rosa Greta, or Greta's Rose. That is by Fabrice Pellegrin, who is always worth checking out, one of my favorite perfumers. Let's have a spray here. Pop that back in there. Whoop, here we go. That's when the array all falls to bits. You can guess from the name that it is a rose. Greta as in Thunberg, says Gavin. No, somehow I think maybe not. Although Greta Thunberg is a hero of mine, but I don't think this perfume was made with her in mind. Okay. Yeah. Very, very true to life, dewy, innocent smelling, fresh, approachable, attractive, appealing rose with a kind of nicely done pink edge to it. What did I write here? Gently fruity rose, shades of Rosy Cabana. That's it. I knew it was reminded me of something. So Rosy Cabana, Jean-Claude Elena for Hermès, that kind of slightly marine rose, or aqueous rose, I should say, with a nice tea note in it as well. Yeah, and I think at this point, when I was smelling them, I said that the ones that are better in this brand are the ones that feel heartfelt in a kind of unforced way. This is really, really delicate, very nicely done. It's like gentle, slightly pink tinged porcelain. If you've smelt, it's very Jean-Claude Elena somehow in a way. Now, I'd love to talk to Pellegrin about it to see if he was inspired by Elena. If you've smelt Rosy Cabana from Hermès and also the discontinued Muguet Porcelaine from Hermès, if you can think of a kind of combination of the two, and by that I mean the sort of tea, pinkish, rosy feel of Rosy Cabana with the lily of the valley fragility of Muguet Porcelaine, you get a sense of what Rosa Greta is. It's nicely done, nicely done. Maybe starts becoming a touch too sweet, but only slightly. I'll tell you who it's named after, because I've got it on their website now. In 1938, Greta Garbo and Monroe Dietrich, and you know the rest, suddenly and inexplicably vanished from Hollywood. Sometime later, the paparazzi discovered her secret hideaway, a stunning villa in Ravello on the Amalfi Coast, overlooking the blue of the Mediterranean, its gardens fragrant with blooming clusters of the famous Ravello rose, where Greta was living moments of secret happiness with a new lover. To this tale of love and life, we dedicated Rosa Greta. Very nicely done, very nicely done. And my favorite, as it turns out, is by Olivier Cresp. And I didn't know that as I was smelling it. It is Fiore. There you go. Oh, well, there you go, I should say. And I hadn't smelt it before I'd smelt these samples. And I just thought it was lovely. And a really, really interesting kind of addition to the small genre of scents like Olivia Jacobetti's En Passant for Frederic Malle, because it is very much catching beautiful, gentle spring blossoms on a breeze. It's so wonderfully done. You know, if you want hyperrealism, if you want, as he calls it, figurative perfumery, you absolutely go to Cresp, because you kind of give him a brief and you say, make me the smell of these flowers, and, you know, and they're in this background, and he just kind of magics up something that is just wonderfully photoreal. And this is it. I would love to smell of this, and I would love to smell it on other people. And it is just so convincingly Mediterranean, sunny, Italian, bright, full of joie de vivre, or whatever the Italian expression for joie de vivre is. My first words actually in my notes were, or my first word was gosh. Really quiet, sweet, gentle jasmine, a beautifully done bouquet with tender lily of the valley notes. And it feels like it was made with full of affection. Like, you can kind of think that Cresp must have been in a very, very, very happy frame of mind when he made it. I wonder if it becomes a little bit too citrusy as it goes on, but you know, that is a very, 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 very minor complaint. What do they say? The beauty of La Sirenuse is as much inside the hotel as it is outside, on its many terraces overlooking the gorgeous bay of Positano. Along the years, we've often noticed how at night, cozily ensconced at Aldo's bar in contemplation of the surrounding beauty, a caressing whiff of exquisite jasmine notes comes to keep us company. This beautiful memory of summer nights is what we've encapsulated in Fiore. And you see, when the stories are as coherent and convincing as that, sure enough, the scent works as well. Noah says, Fior is so charming, makes me smile. Yeah, absolutely. And Tamara says, yes, this is one I wouldn't mind having a full bottle of Fiore. And no, I'm glad you agree. It just convinces you, doesn't it? You're there. I have got pre-spray blotters of the 4 that I've talked about. So here's pre-sprayed Decima. I mean, you wouldn't expect something like Acqua Decima to last for very long. It's got a fairly kind of predictable aromatic patchouli dry down. It isn't a scent that you get for the dry down. Jardin du Poete, even quieter. I think I like the fact that Duchaufour just thought, okay, let's just go for top and mid here, and let's not even try to go for a try hard dry down. Dear Greta, one of the ladies with an attitude, still really nicely, gently, pinky, porcelainly rosy. Nice work from Pellegrin. And Fiore, what is that doing in the final dry down? Yeah, again, it just kind of gently fades away. Cresp hasn't tried to make it last forever. It's just quietly jasmine-y, citrusy. Very nicely done. Ooh, I need a glass of water. Thank you very much for bearing with me. Thank you very much for bearing with the technical issues. I really, really hope they will be resolved next time, because doing the videos in this way, I can tell you, is quite nerve-wracking when you actually have no idea whether it's working or not. But we seem to have got to the end of these broadcasts. So thanks for the comments. Thanks for the laughs. Stay tuned to social media for details of more videos coming your way soon, and be good now.